Alright, hello and welcome to the AusNZ 4K Mania Tournament 2025 Week 2. This is our first match of the week. I'm joined by Snow. How are you feeling, Snow?
Hello. I'm doing quite well. Pretty excited to see how this matches go on.
Yeah, definitely. We are versing with Anthony Edwards and Totally Not Nick against each other. Anthony Edwards is the top seed of the Group B stage. He is quite a high-ranked player, a bit of a ranked grinder, but I think he is around the same level in terms of accuracy. And then on the other side of the ring, we have Totally Not Nick, who is around 4-digit, and he's pretty adverse in these more rice-oriented picks.
It's always interesting to see this dynamics, especially I think within like a tournament scene. I mean, when we do get into like tournaments, I mean, ranks start to matter just a little bit less. I mean, sure, they do put a little bit of an indicator, but how much of an indicator does it really put, especially with an accuracy? Because I mean, we all know, I mean, with like ranked stuff, it's more about just having high accuracy, but it's not really about that ratio.
Definitely, and ratio is the name of the game here in these earlier pools. As we do increase in difficulty just a little bit, but in general, we still do see, apart from probably LN3, a lot more of these just ratio-oriented picks. So we're going to get started here, and it seems like Not Nick has protected the SV, and Anthony Edwards has protected Rice 5.
Always interesting to see this like dynamic of protects. I mean, you do have to expect it when it comes to a lot of these matches. I mean, some people are more comfortable with the Rice, and as we see, one person being more comfortable with the SV, and this SV being a little bit tricky as well.
Definitely, this one's got a lot more teleports like last time. It's no Weeble Wobble, but it's certainly up there. And these LN picks, all custom mapped, I'm really interested to see if any of them vie for LN3, which is a bit of a wild card here.
Yeah, it's always like worrying to kind of see how these LNs go, and I would imagine it's really worrying for like the charters themselves to hope that their pick doesn't get banned, because I mean we all know LNs are basically the target when it comes to bans.
Exactly, and now with this SV protected, it really is. I do think both of these players are more adverse to Rice, so it's really kind of who's gonna get the edge over, and these LNs maybe a desperation pick if it gets dicey towards the end.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's one good thing for some players, like especially those who are like a lot more well-rounded, as it gives them that advantage. If they really need to, they could just ban one of the Rice picks. If they lose one of the LN picks, then well, so be it. They have a lot of these other picks left, but I think, like you said, them being more Rice-oriented, it's just going to make this a lot more scarier, although I guess on one hand, there is the SV that got protected, so that is, I guess, a bit of a backup in case one of these elements maybe go wrong.
Yeah, and we did see that in the qualifiers, Totally Not Nick practiced SV a lot more compared to Anthony Edwards. I think he was actually quite far down on the qualifying list, so I think, yeah, definitely just protecting that and just banking on the fact that his qualifier score reflects how much Anthony Edwards may or may not have practiced the SV, but we'll see. He could have it up his sleeve.
Yeah, I mean, it always depends. I mean, some players, even like with a lot of practice, like they'll just get a bit of a worse score, whether it just be because it's just tricky or they just aren't really familiar with the SV. I mean, Weeble Wobble just being very, very tricky in general. Very, very, I guess, technical SV in a sense, especially with like some of those, like, I guess, like pseudo memory sections.
Yeah, and as we can see, the both 2 LN2 and LN3 has been banned. Unfortunately, I would have loved to see those, but at the end of the day, this is a versing of Rice players rather than LN players.
Yeah, unfortunate to see when the LNs get banned, but I mean, we still have one LN left. We still have the hybrids left, so we're just gonna have to wait and see how that goes. I'm interested to see what these first picks go off of. I mean, we obviously know like all these Rice picks, they play very differently from each other. So these might be a little bit familiar to some people, but especially to players. And SV already.
Wow, we're straight off the bat with the SV, we'll now get to see how much Totally Not Nick has practiced. And yeah, as you said with previously, the LN that's remaining, Bird Brain, is the easiest of the LNs. So that's probably going to be a bit of a toss-up, but it's not going to be like terribly tragic for both players.
Yeah, I mean, I think probably like the main aspect that's just going to give the difficulty is just like that release aspect. I don't imagine the other parts will give them as much trouble, but you never know.
Definitely. We just got started here with SV1 Good Life, mapped by Mafufu. This was used in another tournament, so this is a real tried and true banger.
Yeah, I believe it was OMMC4 qualifiers.
Yes. Yes, it was.
I remember practicing this one. This one's tricky. I know there's like one part near like the middle that's so tricky to time. It's so tricky to time.
Yeah, some memory parts, some teleports. This is really a step up from the previous SV on week 1. And as we get started, immediately off the bat, the accuracy is a bit night and day, with Totally Not Nick having near 2 to 3% advantage, but it's early days.
Ooh.
What the hell just happened?
That was really unexpected.
We'd see both of them miss at the same time, kind of mitigating each other out, so it doesn't matter too much, but at the end of the day, it's kind of this accuracy that's edging Totally Not Nick towards the victory.
Yeah, it looked like they missed on like one of those like teleports, so I mean, it could be that like they didn't practice TSV today at least, or maybe they just, it's been like a while since they practiced it. I mean, I know at least one tactic for, I guess, tournaments in general is to kind of not pick the SV right away, just to kind of like make your opponent forget it in a way.
Yeah, but that's not really the case, as it does seem this looks like a bit of a sight read for Anthony Edwards, as he's on a low 90%. This looks just like a comfortable, smooth sail win for Nick.
Yeah, especially with those misses on the outer trill, like the little outer trill memory part. That part's definitely just going to get that huge lead in. It's just definitely one of those things that it prevents one player from sight reading, and I guess in a way it's just kind of like a warning for the forthcoming future, for these future SVs.
Definitely. Nick messing up again, but at this stage it really doesn't matter. We just it's kind of a sweep over here. I would probably say this is a sight read from Anthony Edwards.
Yeah, but as we get to this next section, honestly, I think it could just be maybe they didn't like it's been such a long time since they did, maybe since like the starter session, or maybe they just didn't like fully learn it. Maybe I guess looking into the stats and seeing, okay, my opponent isn't the best at SV. If I maybe give it a few shots, it should be fine.
Yeah, definitely. But as we wrap things up here, the final section, a little bit of a teleport jack, a near 200,000 score difference, firmly placing Nick's first point as we start in this match.
Yeah, definitely a good way to start. I mean, not really much to say, as we haven't gone into like any of the other picks. It's kind of, it speaks for itself. I mean, one player having a decent amount of practice, the other one probably sight reading, but at least this pick is over with, so Anthony Edwards isn't going to have to worry about any SVs anymore. They're just going to have to worry about playing really good on these rice picks at least.
Definitely, as you said, the SV is now over, and now it is a pure rice fest. Maybe some hybrids at the end if it does get a bit more close, but we will now delve into more skill rather than memorization and, just repeated playing. We'll now get to fully start in this as we go into Swamp 3. Rice 4. This is a bit of an enigma. It's Jack focused, but it can still really trip you up and give you a lot of 200s if you're not careful.
Yeah, this is such a classic file. I think a lot of like older people would definitely know this file. Like you said, I mean, it is Jack focused. It's also, I guess in a way, it's like kind of like wild cardy. It's so like kind of like in there.
Definitely, it's a lot more unconventional than these other picks. With these other picks, they're straightforward jump stream, but this, even though it's Jack, it's got some rolls that actually really trip people up.
Yeah, I think some people might even like consider this like a kind of like tech pattern in a way, just because like how some of these kind of shots. I mean, I think everyone knows shoegazer files. Like it's not like you have your jump stream, DJ sharp no, you have like these type files which are sometimes a little bit, I guess, out there, different, kind of unique.
Definitely, Shoegazer is very much well known in the tournament scene, and this is honestly one of my favorite of hers, Swamp Thing, and it's just an amazing song, in my opinion.
Yeah, honestly, I think it's such a funny song. I remember like playing Roblox and hearing this song. It's kind of one of those like funny songs. It's just one of those songs that I'm pretty sure everyone will recognize, and I guess a recognizable file goes a long way into making this pool just ever so much more fun.
Yep, and as we get started here, relatively even accuracy across the board here, but Anthony Edwards is edging up into that 99.9 territory. But it is early days, and these little flams, I'd almost call them, do get a lot more frequent and a little bit more dense.
Yeah, these like small bursts, I mean, you know, and especially like the beginning, you have like that one burst and then like a jack on the same hand, but as the jump can be a little bit tricky, but as you're continuing on, you're going to get more of these patterns, and it's possible to see a choke, although seeing how Anthony Edwards is doing, I would assume that their consistency is pretty good, at least for the most part.
Definitely, I think still holding a V1 double S. Nick trailing a little bit behind at the 99.5 range, but this is still a accuracy battle. Oh, dropping a little 200, but if Anthony Edwards even misses, this could swing in Nick's favor.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, especially just because it's like less than 4,000, and this being an early game pick means that there isn't as many notes as like a late game pick. So one miss could really cost it all, especially as their accuracy starts to drop so much more. Still holding a really good score, but it's still noticeable.
Yeah, in general, these map pools are quite short, so one miss can spell the end of you. But as we approach past the halfway point, a 0.3% difference with around 5.5 thousand score lead in favor of Anthony Edwards. If he can just keep it going and no tragic mistakes, this could be a comfortable pick for him, but Nick's still putting up a relatively good fight.
Yeah, especially as like we're starting to get a lot more of these tricky patterns, like these trills, like these blue jacks like falling up at each other. There's gonna be some moves in play right now, and I imagine that both of these players are trying so hard to just keep that accuracy, and Nick just trying so hard to just climb up. I mean, they're so far away, but it's not over just yet. I still have hope that we could potentially see a mess up from either player.
Yeah, it does accelerate in difficulty and density towards the end as these rolls and streams get really hammered down and focused, but both players hitting them comfortably. But it's just Anthony Edwards generally just having the uphand in this accuracy battle, and I think that just spells the end of it. No mistakes from either players, it's just accuracy here.
Yeah, I mean, both of them did so good. I mean, both of them were gaining accuracy on that later section, and that is hard. That's such a difficulty spike compared to like the first half. They're still doing so good. It's like you said, it's just a matter of that ratio.
Yeah, you do see that Anthony Edwards 2 grades to Nick's 10. It does really just show he made a little bit more mistakes than Anthony, and that is the result of that match. As we go on to another Rice pick, Rice to, I believe, the hamstring pick.
Yeah, yeah, basically a jump stream hamstring pick. It's kind of your typical jump stream hamstring pick that you would expect within a tournament setting. Kind of an interesting pick to go off of, though. I mean, I guess it doesn't hurt to stay in territory you might be comfortable with, but I think just looking at how Swamp Thing went, I would have maybe experimented with one of the hybrids, maybe.
Yeah, the hybrids, or maybe a bit more of a sporadic, frantic, tech-oriented pick. Maybe just to trip up Anthony a bit more, but he's opting in for the safer side and just hoping his accuracy in this one will go over Anthony.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, this is a lot more simpler compared to the other picks, so who knows, but I always raise a little bit of concern just given that the ratios did seem quite far, but we'll see how it goes. Slow jump shift can still be equally as difficult just because it might be a little bit too fast for either player maybe. We'll just have to wait and see though.
Definitely, as we just get started here, both saying good luck. This is relatively comfortable, but there are still some patterns that just indicate a little spike in difficulty, but nothing too bad. Again, it's just the accuracy. Combo game. I think both of these players are good enough to full combo this chart, but at this point, it does seem Anthony Edwards does have the upper hand in the ratio department.
Yeah, this definitely just being a test of that consistency. I mean, even if it is like a little bit short for maybe like something like you in a stamina pick, it still tests consistency with like that repetitive jump stream motion.
Ooh, is that a client or an actual miss? If that's an actual miss, that is a good start for Nick, and that does look like it was a real miss, but early days, Anthony Edwards still could hold on to the ratio advantage and pull it back. But at this point, Nick is in the lead.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the good thing for Anthony Edwards is that the miss was very early on. I mean, I think it was like below that 100 combo as well, so it's not going to do too much damage. If Anthony Edwards is able to gain enough accuracy, I don't even think that miss will matter.
Definitely, as we go into these kind of Jack Glut sections here, Anthony Edwards is having a easier time than Nick. Nick's kind of relatively staying simple with this accuracy at a high 99.5. Oh, another miss though. What's going on? This is really good for Nick, as he can if he just holds on to this, he could definitely run away with this, as Anthony Edwards is just tripping up a lot more than Nick.
I wonder if that factor of like maybe this being like a little bit too slow might be coming in, especially that this is like a light pick. I wonder if that's maybe potentially like causing maybe some like overthinking or maybe some just like a little bit extra fast tapping.
Yeah, definitely. Anthony Edwards is probably more suited to the harder side of these pulls, and we're just not at that stage yet at week 2, so Nick can really play this into his advantage. Just holding onto this combo, and I'm eating my own words. I did say this was accuracy, but it does seem that these misses is just really favoring Nick as well, because even though he does have lower AC, it's kind of not mattering here. As another miss from Edwards, and that's another break point for Nick. He's in the lead.
Yeah, that is a good break point to get. I mean, it was a little bit sketchy to think of, but I guess it did work in their favor. The ratio is in Anthony Edwards' favor though. It's just those 4 misses costing so much.
Yeah, definitely. Just Nick holding onto that FC, really not helping Edwards' favor. And he goes into LN1, the coordination pick by our very own Australian mapper Fevrex with Birdbrain.
This is a bit of an interesting pick, but I mean, I guess I would say earlier that maybe seeing how some of these picks went, maybe one of these players would want to experiment with some of the other picks. So I guess I get what I asked for.
Definitely. This is the slower side and a cut version of Birdbrain, so it's 2 minutes 24 seconds. I'm really interested to see, because these two players aren't really known for their LN release. They're more known for, their Rice consistency and Rice push scores, so this could be a bit interesting, a bit of a toss-up in my opinion. With the other picks, you could say that Anthony Edwards has the lead with his just general ratio, but this LN is really just putting this in the match.
Yeah, I completely agree with you on everything you said there. It's definitely going to be interesting to see this end. I mean, hey, maybe this could pave the way to maybe the hybrid selection if maybe Anthony Edwards isn't feeling too comfortable with the other races as maybe like Swamp Thing.
Definitely. I would say this is a bit of a surprise pick, but at the end of the day, it is his pick. Maybe he's feeling comfortable in his LNs today, but all will be told, and we get started here.
Yeah, we're just gonna have to wait and see. I mean, this could either be a great pick or this could end up disastrous, especially if like winning or losing this LN pick can kind of determine how the rest of the match goes. I mean, it determines can my opponent pick the hybrids, or am I safe to play the hybrids?
Definitely, as we get started, Anthony Edwards holding relatively high combo, high accuracy. I apologize, but it is early days here. We could see a lot more greats, but ooh, Neck with a pretty fatal miss at the start. I think this was a good pick for Anthony Edwards. Is he holding a low 99.6?
Yeah, that's still being really good. I mean, especially for players who might be more dominant in the rice area. It is good to have that. And it does look like that kind of hold straight is giving Nick a little bit of trouble, not really having the biggest Ellen fundamentals at least.
Yeah, and we kind of seeing this Achilles heel of Nick and Anthony Edwards really leaning into it. It makes me question a bit why he banned the other LN pick, because he does seem to just be generally better at LN than Nick, who's really struggling here. But maybe he wasn't comfortable with it today, but he's definitely comfortable with this pick now, as it is very clear who's gonna win here. I think I can call it in here.
Yeah, I mean, it could also just be the thing where maybe Anthony Edwards didn't really look at like the stats potentially of Nick, thinking that maybe that Ellen would be a bad choice, and thinking maybe I might be able to capitalize on this first Ellen, and it could just be a thing where they realize that they have that Ellen advantage and they kind of regret banning that one Ellen that they banned, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, Anthony Edwards showing why he's the top seed of Group B for a reason, as a lot of these Group B players have been struggling with LN, especially these more release coordinated ones, but he seems like he's taking it on pretty well compared to everybody else. And yeah, we just see the end here where it's just a lot more just hold focused, but yeah, that's really all she wrote.
Yeah, taking that win convincingly, I mean, it's almost like an SV pick in a way.
The opposite. But yeah, an 88,000 score lead, 976k, respectable, and an FC as well to top it all off. That ties up the score 2-2. But it is Nick's pick, and we will see. I think he's going to go for these rice picks, because the hybrid, although I feel like hybrid 2 is a little bit more lenient, hybrid 1 could be a lot more disastrous for him. So I think he might go for maybe rice 1 or 3.
Yeah, I think seeing how Rice 2 went, I mean,
He
I would
picked hybrid
agree.
1.
Huh.
Maybe
Interesting.
he's banking on the density. The density of hybrid 1 is actually quite high. I think it's what, 180, 200 to 200 BPM. Maybe he's banking on that, but honestly, the higher the BPM, the more it's favored for Anthony Edwards, in my opinion.
Yeah, that was an interesting pick. I was about to say how I think Rice 1 probably, like you said, was probably going to be, and probably Rice 3. I would say those two, just given how Rice 4 went being, I guess, kind of techy, and Rice 5 being our tech pick would be kind of risky. But we'll see how this one goes. I think this one's quite risky, like you said, but we'll have to wait and see. I mean, we saw how Allen 1 went. Good things, it could change.
Yeah, but really, the more dense the pick is, I feel like the more Anthony Edwards shines here, as he is quite high rank and is more used to these higher density things, so maybe he feels more comfortable. But again, this is not next play, and we were questioning Anthony Edwards LN1. Maybe this is next response, but all shall be told.
Yeah, there's not really much to say about that. I mean, you just said everything I could even think of. Well, we'll see. The file's starting off a little bit slow, but we'll quickly get into these more tricky patterns. And oh my god, already starting.
This is flying off the bat here, especially more of these early picks, and then another miss gets traded, evening out the score. This is certainly interesting.
Yeah, one really scary aspect of this is, I mean, there's still some of these like Ellen releases, which we did see in the last pick, so that could hurt Nick a little bit as we see the accuracy.
Yeah, Anthony Edwards getting another chain miss almost there, but still keeping the accuracy lead. But it's so close. It's anyone's game at this point. It's just flipping back and forth with Anthony Edwards holding the accuracy advantage, but Nick holding the combo advantage.
Yeah, especially as we go on. I mean, Anthony losing that 400 combo. Nick is going to gain just a little bit. Even if their accuracy is a bit lower, they're still gaining just a little bit of an advantage because of that. But as we're going by, Anthony Edwards having just a little bit of better accuracy and slowly but slowly healing that wound.
This is so close. Oh my god, this is 200 score we're looking at. Really just a score v2 kind of just working its magic here, as Anthony Edwards does get the flip over, extending his lead to around 2,000, as Nick just gets a bit more 200s than he'd like.
Yeah, especially with a lot of these like releases coming in and out, I would imagine that they are struggling to kind of just act those at least. But Anthony Edwards, despite those drops, still holding the accuracy, which is just going to help lead the way to this potential point.
And as he stopped dropping misses, he's regained his combo, so now the accuracy really favoring him. As we did see, they were early misses, so if he just holds this combo, this will be his pick. But oh, that's really not good, and I think that might seal the deal. Even as that miss happens, this is comfortably in Anthony Edwards' favor.
Yeah, it is a miss too late, at least on the side of Nick, and this point just going to backfire. But who knows? I mean, there's only the second hybrid, and then there's the rice picks left. So if anything, Anthony Edwards might have only one pick left to choose.
Definitely, but he does get that his third point, putting him in the lead, and see if he can get this break point, as it is his pick now. We do see just a lot less 200 count from the side of Anthony Edwards is really shining, and is really what's the story in that pick. And as we go into Anthony Edwards' pick, I think he's going to go for a rice, like a bit more of a comfortable rice. Maybe rice 1, because I feel like that speed really isn't in Nick's favor, but more in Edwards' favor.
Honestly, I think Hybrid 2 might be the move, just given how LN1 and Hybrid 1 went. Or I guess you're right then.
Yeah, I kind of knew, because like speed is Anthony Edwards' kind of golden goose. I feel like this is the pick he was saving just to really edge things out, but I think he's going to do well here. And I don't know about Nick, but this is going to be a tough match, because this is what Anthony Edwards is known for, this kind of speed consistency. So this is going to be an interesting sight to see.
Yeah, I mean, it's not surprising, like you mentioned, it's not surprising to see this pick go on. I do think maybe this could have been saved. Maybe see how one of the hybrids go, and maybe hope that Nick goes for rice 1. But if it works for them, it works for them.
Definitely. As we start here, this is a 131 BPM, I think 1.6 or 1.7. 6.7, my bad. But this is kind of not. This may be a little closer, because this isn't really about conserving your stamina for the speed, as there are a lot of 1-4 breaks here. It's kind of just accuracy and can you hold on to these kind of disastrous streams. And ooh, that might have been an actual miss. That gives the early lead, but as we've seen with the fate of other picks here, just because you miss early doesn't mean you've secured the point. And we need to see a lot more stableness from Nick, but he does appear to be in the advantage. This is very surprising, and actually.
Yeah, Nick actually holding on really well on this one, which, holy.
Wait, this is very unexpected here, as we see not Nick holding a 99.67 and really just holding on to this combo. I love saying that those two numbers, but this has backfired quite severely for Anthony Edwards. He just keeps missing it, and he's not even holding the ACK advantage like he normally is. This is really surprising.
Yeah, I mean, like you were saying earlier, I mean, this pick looked like it was going to go well for Anthony Edwards, but it does look like Nick is holding on to both the accuracy and the combo advantage, especially as we are more than halfway through. It is not looking too good, especially as that lead just continues to grow and grow.
both players miss, equalizing out, but the 24,000 score lead Not Nick has is really doing in numbers as it kind of gets extended a little bit more. But I was praising Anthony Edwards for his speed capabilities, but it does seem I was underselling Not Nick as he is flying here.
Yeah, Anthony is just losing that consistency on a pick like this one. I mean, I can't really blame them. Speed picks are notorious for just being difficult.
Definitely. But apparently not for Nick, as he just keeps going, and this is really impressive from him. I would not expect this. Really kudos to him as he evens out the scoreboard very confidently. This could be a big morale boost for Nick as he ties up with the first seed of Group B.
Yeah, both these players getting back-to-back break points, going to bring it to 3-3, meaning that both these players only have one pick left, and they're going to have to use that pick wisely.
Definitely. Anthony Edwards still getting the ratio advantage, but he does drop more to hundreds, and of course the 8 misses really detrimental. This ties up the scoreboard. This is getting really interesting. Maybe tiebreaker?
Potentially we could see it. I mean, who knows though? I mean, we saw each of these picks backfire on both these players. Potentially it could happen again, but we only have to wait and see.
Definitely. I feel like I've said 6-7 too much here. I'll stop now. But it's now Anthony Edwards' pick, and he might go with his protect to try and get onto match point Rice 5. But this is Nick's. Is it? Oh, it's Nick's pick. Wait, this puts him in a really advantageous position. He might go for hybrid 2, but he ends up going for Rice 3, the mixed rice section of the map pool, trying to get that match point.
Honestly, I think this is the best pick he could have gone for. I mean, we saw how hybrid 1 went. I would say hybrid 2 does look really risky just because of how we saw that one go, and as well as hybrid, no, element 1.
Definitely. If he wins this, he will be on match point, but it will be Anthony Edwards protect Rice 5, which may be the requirement to get us to a tiebreaker. But this will definitely determine the outcome of the match, as if not Nick wins this, he'll be on match point, but it'll be sent to tiebreaker. But if he loses this, it could just be a sweep 5-3, but we will see.
We don't have to wait and see. I mean, this pick does look the best, but who knows? I mean, like you were saying with Rice 1, it looked like the best pick for Anthony Edwards, and it completely backfired. So could do the same thing here.
Definitely. And if this does go to tiebreaker, it is a lot more difficult than these pools, which might favor Anthony Edwards. But both of these players maybe not comfortable with the LN density that the tiebreaker requires, but we'll see if we even get to that stage. But this is turning out to be an extremely exciting match.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, especially with these teams being a little bit far apart, not too far apart, but I would say a little bit noticeably. You wouldn't really expect these type of matches.
Definitely, as we just get into the calm before the storm here, that is, really bad start for Not Nick as he gets a couple of bads and a miss, and Anthony Edwards is kind of with the higher act as well. This could be another point where the enemy has taken a point from the other's pick, but we'll see.
Yeah, it'd be really funny if we just keep seeing that. I mean, it does look convincingly in Anthony Edwards' favor as we're getting into that 5-digit lead.
Yeah, and these kind of just like, flowy kind of streams where you kind of go in and out of these rolls and these streams, and then kind of just like regular jack pattern, really favoring Anthony Edwards. But Nick is clawing back a bit with accuracy and combo. If Anthony Edwards does miss, Nick could snatch back the lead, but we'll see, as Anthony Edwards seems to be quite comfortable here.
Yeah, Nick just slowly but surely gaining a little bit of accuracy, but it's not going to be enough, especially with that miss that we saw earlier. I mean, this pick I would say being relatively maybe comfortable to act, just given it's kind of just a mix of everything, nothing too crazy.
Yeah, really kind of just as we approach this final quarter, it does seem he's holding on to his combo, but it is a bit of bated breath as at this point, one miss could really be detrimental for Anthony Edwards. He just really needs to combo. And as I say that, it's immediately apparent that the lead is stretching back to not Nick's favor as he needs to hold on to this combo. Does he have enough time to get this to get this 7,000 lead? As we approach the end, it's kind of just staying there. It does seem, although it does seem he's making more mistakes, it still seems comfortable.
I don't know, is it switching?
I don't know. The final patterns. Oh my god! The final misses is what determined that. As he just held onto that combo, Nick, but dramatic fail from Anthony Edwards. As we get into match point for not Nick, the number 24 seed against the 17 seed. Oh my god.
Oh, that's gotta hurt. That looks so convincingly in favor of Anthony Edwards. I don't know if it's maybe like nerves, just knowing I have to keep this combo in order to get that point, and being so close to the finish line and realizing that you have that immense pressure might have just messed him up.
It was the last patterns too, the last 2 seconds of the song, and he just drops the ball. Tragic, really. But this is shaping up to be such a twist and turn match. I can't believe what I'm seeing.
God, I don't know what to go for with this. I mean, I guess Hybrid 2 looks like the best option. I mean, Anthony Edwards.
But it was.
Yeah, there we go.
It's very funny. He protected Rice 5 and didn't pick Rice 5. I don't know what's going on, but we head on to Hybrid 2, the more calm, release-focused hybrid pick. This could be Anthony Edwards' favor. As we saw in Bird Brain, he was really comfortable in the zone there, while Nick was struggling quite a bit. So this could lead to the tiebreaker.
Yeah, honestly, especially with this one being like more technical, I honestly think this favors Anthony Edwards a lot more, just given how Swamp League went with, I guess, that kind of mini aspect of it, and then obviously the other Ellen aspects within the other picks that we saw.
But we also have to just take into the factor of these nerves. It does seem like Anthony Edwards is struggling with nerves a lot more than Nick. Nick holding his composure, having the combos well. Anthony Edwards has really let a lot of these maps slip away from his fingers. If he continues his nervousness, it could be not Nick's favor, but he just really needs to lock in, as the kids say.
As the kids say. Yeah,
I'm turning boomer, man.
I have hope for both these players that they'll do well. It's really just a matter of who can keep that stability up, who's able to really lock in and get that point.
Definitely, as we just start in here, Nick with the slight accuracy lead. I think Edwards just got a small 200 here, but early days. I'm nervous. How are you feeling?
Oh, I am so nervous too. I mean, we're only at this beginning part that's so common. It's already so close.
Yeah, this has turned out to be a lot more exciting of a match than I anticipated. I honestly thought Anthony Edwards had that Rice advantage, but these misses have just completely shot his dominance in terms of like the seeding. So this is really interesting, as quite equal accuracy, just slightly favoring Anthony Edwards as it just goes back and forth.
It's so close. It's literally just like the beginning, just like ever so slightly more accuracy differential. But oh my god, I don't know who has the advantage here. It's so hard to tell.
Yeah, a little bit of an advantage, and as we see, he's dropping a lot more 200s, and this could go anyone's favor as the second half is, while not as dense. Ooh, as I say that, Nick just drops, and he drops again.
No.
This could just be Anthony Edwards' point. That's kind of a dramatic fail.
I was just about to mention the fact that this tiebreak has like some hold strain that is quite long, and like a lot of these like mini jack control patterns. I felt like that was gonna mess up Nick immensely, and I think it's starting to show a lot more issue for Nick now.
Yeah, definitely. As Anthony Edwards holds onto this full combo, really showing that he is more favorable in these LN holds, which could be disastrous as the tiebreaker is quite LN favored. So it could be the end, but we will see as we get into this kind of like racy section with these LNs. Both players holding on well, but it's just the dramatic fail from not Nick previously that really kind of just biting him in the back here as we see another miss.
Yeah, it's a lot of just these awkward patterns, these mini jacks coming in, a lot of these like bursts in and out, these LNs having some awkward releases at times. Just all that combined makes it so difficult, not only to hold combo on, but also accuracy.
Yeah, Anthony Edwards dropping there, but it's too little too late as it's just an insane accuracy advantage, and the combo really isn't there as we see around 40,000 score lead.
Yeah, but as we're getting to the end, there's not much that any of these players can really do. I mean, I don't even think there's enough notes for it to shift.
No, but you know what that means? We are tied 4-4. There is only one possible map left, and that is Train of Thought, the tiebreaker. The first tiebreaker of the first stream as well, the first match. Kind of insane.
Hey, I mean, hopefully this shows the precedent that we're going to have within this week. Hopefully we see a lot of these close matches.
Definitely, I would love to see a lot more of these, especially in Group A, but this is Group B, and we have reached the tiebreaker, 5 minutes and 23 seconds. This has been a nail-biter of a stream, but as we enter this, and we've seen with the previous picks, Anthony Edwards being a bit more favored with these LN releases, and we're back? Okay, we're back. Oh my god, we're back. Okay. It's not a AusNZ tournament without at least one stream crash per stream. But we're back. Tiebreaker was a bit too hype, but we're here.
I'm so nervous for both of these plays.
Oh my gosh. Okay, we're back on. Thank God. But yeah, as we head into this tiebreaker, we were saying before that it is a bit more favored towards Anthony Edwards with the density and the LNs. But it could be a real toss-up, as I'm sure both players are quite nervous. So maybe it's nerves that dictate the outcome of this tiebreaker.
Yeah, I mean, we saw a lot of these picks, and we kept saying this pick's more in favor of this player, and it just ends up switching around.
We've had so many picks where just like one player picks it and then they lose it. It's just back and forth, and it's been a real toss and turn, heart stopper of a match. But we approach the final map for all the beans, really. And we'll see who proceeds further into the winners bracket and who gets knocked down to the losers.
Yeah, I'm excited to see this one. I mean, God, it's got to be such a roller coaster just being in this match. I mean, you think that you have the advantage in one area, and then it just turns out you don't. Now you just have to switch something else, and now you're just being tossed into something that you basically can't control. This pick was going to come. There isn't any alternative.
Yep, and no matter how well you practice for the pools, at some point you're gonna arrive at the tiebreaker. As we head into this here, already showing a bit more of the accuracy, but early days, as I was saying, the accuracy of Anthony Edwards, but maybe the nerves really just getting on Nick as he just gets another miss.
Yeah, I mean, another scary part of it just being that this does have quite a bit of aggressive elements in terms of just hold strain, which I would expect to get Nick a lot more.
But as we see another miss from Anthony Edwards, but evened out and traded by Nick, 10,000 score lead, but I think as both players have shown, they are prone to missing due to match nervousness probably, and but yeah, generally we do see Anthony Edwards being a bit more comfortable with this like density pick, while Nick is struggling a bit more.
The accuracy is still very, very far from either of these players, but I mean, we've seen both of these players just have ginormous drops, so I wouldn't really say it's over just yet.
Yeah, we do really need to see Nick a bit more stabilized. These misses really not helping him. Maybe the nerves have finally caught up to him, as he did hold combo for quite a long time in the other picks, but it does seem like the nerves has got to him, and maybe just the difficulty is just a bit too much. And while we do see Anthony Edwards missing too, it does seem a bit more comfortable for him.
Yeah, I mean, this gap being quite large, so it's a bit scary on the side of Nick's side, but who knows? I mean, this is quite long as well, so we could see things shift.
Yep, and as we see another miss from Edwards, clawing back slowly but surely. It's just this accuracy that is a massive thorn in Nick's side. But if these misses keep going for Anthony Edwards, we could see it get a lot more closer. But we'll see as we approach halfway almost. Yeah, just like the struggling of both players of holding combo. It's quite difficult as we just head into this like more inverse long section.
Yeah, one thing that's also just going to be hard for Nick is just like, Nick is getting a lot more misses, and misses don't mean as much in like lengthier stuff, and like stuff with like a lot more notes, but those add up, and it's just going to make it so much harder for that lead to shift over if Anthony Edwards doesn't miss as much.
Definitely, and we're also seeing a bit of a dichotomy of what a chain miss does and what just a singular miss does. As you see Anthony Edwards just getting like one or two misses, but like Nick getting like a string of bads, hundreds and misses at the same time, really kind of just piling up and being a lot more detrimental.
Yeah, it's still so far, but I don't really know what else can really happen. I mean, unless we see something crazy happen, it does look like it's going to be heavily in favor of Anthony Edwards, especially as like a lot more of these like trickier LN hybrid sections come up. It's just going to be hard for Nick to gain that accuracy, especially that combo game.
Definitely, and it's a tall task to ask of not Nick, as holding combo is a lot more difficult, as this is quite a jump in difficulty from the other for the rest of the map pool, even for a tiebreaker. So generally we'll see as we head into a bit of a break for these players, but yeah, it's not looking good for Nick, I must say.
Yeah, I mean, even despite a lot of these misses from Anthony Edwards, he's still holding a pretty clean 99 at least. I mean, it might be a bit low, but I mean, hey, a 99 is a 99. You take the advantage you can get.
Definitely, and the ratio is also playing a big factor here. I don't want to call anything yet, as anything can happen, but this is a long map, and the longer a map goes, the less consequential a miss becomes, especially with these low combos from both of these players.
Yeah, both of them just dropping left and right. I mean, it's definitely one of those files where both of them are just struggling just on very different aspects. I mean, Anthony Edwards just having a bit of trouble in that consistency, but Nick just struggling a lot when it comes to a lot of these like LN and hybrid-y style of charting.
Still a really good effort to get the top seeded of Group B to a tiebreaker. That is certainly a commendable effort. And he's not out of the fight yet. He will be going to lose his bracket, but he can still fight to try and win it all. But yeah, this seals the deal of this match with a near 50,000 score lead. Anthony Edwards, the winner of this match, moving on to the top four, and not Nick being knocked down into the lower bracket.
Yeah, definitely being a bit of an interesting match to see. I mean, such a roller coaster. I mean, both these players did so good. I mean, even despite like all these mistakes, they still did it good.
Yeah, like These matches are kind of the best when you really just you think you know what's going to happen, and then they just curveball you. It's really something to see here. But we end up that Nick to the lower bracket. Anthony Edwards continues on. GG to both of them. Really, really exciting match.
Oh yeah, this was definitely such an exciting match to see. I mean, kudos to both of them. I mean, you can't really say either of them did bad because, I mean, making it to tiebreaker is already so difficult, and it shows the capability of both these players, but we're not done with the matches.
Definitely, we have a lot more matches to cover, so stay tuned. We have a match coming up very soon as we see the schedule if it gets shown up. We have a lot to cover, a lot of players, 3 losers brackets, and a lot more other maps, as especially we see the opening of Group A playing all of their matches as well. Gonna be a packed weekend.
Oh yeah, definitely for like the next few hours. So many matches that we have to go through.
Yep, but that concludes this stream. We will see you, I think, in literally 1 minute for the next one.
Yeah,
that is
we're not leaving.
Literally going. We're not leaving. We're staying here. We have Selski versus Jammin' Claw on the losers bracket. And we will just get that set up, and we'll be right with you as another match is also on, but we're streaming Jammin' Claw and Selski.
Yeah, the other match being Alamander and Spicy Meme. I believe the MP links for both of those should be up somewhere, so eventually we could just update you on how either match is going.
Yes, and we just need... Yep, and here we are, starting straight up, and we